You don't do that, because I've seen their wacky antics when they get on swings or bouncy things where both end up tumbling to the floor, laughing hysterically.
So I got cousin Peter here. We're gonna go do the demo sail on the Balance 482. Here comes Golden Hour coming in for the demo sail.
Clear. I'm going to give you a push. All the boats are going to be equipped with integral, and so theoretically you could be running the engine just for as essentially a generator for battery charging. Mark took it upon himself to install a dry exhaust system, which essentially you still have raw water being pulled through the exhaust system to cool, for cooling the engine, and then it comes out the exhaust. But there's a discharge underneath the water line for the water, and then the actual exhaust comes out in a separate discharge just above the water line.
Yeah.
And it's just, the result is it's much quieter. Port integral. So it's not charging right now. We must be at full charge on the battery. Yeah, so we're at full charge on the battery. Yes, this is the battery bay. So we're at net positive, almost like 9 amps right here. The DC draw is, 500 and something watts, but we're topped off.
Why are you making the change on the Daggerboards for the 526? They'll be visible.
So there's a couple reasons for that. The primary one is that people want the bling factor of showing off their Daggerboards, right? Yeah. So we got actually a fair amount of feedback about, you have this performance boat, and then you have people come up, oh, it's not a performance boat, it doesn't have Daggerboards. And you're like, well, yeah, it does. They're captive. So certain people want the boards to show so that they can show off that they've got a Daggerboard boat, right? The other thing is, in order to do those captive boards, the board itself is 8 feet long, and 7.5 feet of that board is out of the boat when it's fully down. That leaves this much board left in the trunk.
Right.
That is a huge load, right? The load pressures on that little piece of board are massive. So not only do we have to overbuild the board, but we have to overbuild the trunk. I mean, the trunk is like that thick of carbon fiber. So basically, by doing the longer boards that come up above deck, you leave a lot more board in the trunk, and we don't have to over-engineer the boards in the trunks. So it's some weight savings and a little bit of space savings in that cabinetry over the board. So on the 526, we're going to offer, it's going to be standard to have the boards above deck. If you still want captive, we'll still do it.
So which sails are you debating between?
Debating no zero, no sail at all.
Shh, no! So how do you like the lines going down into there?
Yeah, it worked great. Keeps it nice and tidy.
usually leave them half down as rudder protection. Hit a crab trap or something, it gets hung up on the board, not on the rudder.
Fortunately, there's not much wind today. Winds are so light, just furling in by hand.
So standard option for secondary anchor is a Fortress aluminum anchor. It's made for anchoring in sand. I think it has 30 feet of chain on it, and then the rest is rope rode. It's made to be deployed by hand, the Rockna for everything else. And the Rockna, man, I've had Rockna on several boats. I've never dragged with a Rockna. Like, those things are bulletproof. I love that anchor. I'll take a Rockna over a Mantis or an Ultra or any of those other brands who think they're awesome. I swear by a Rockna.
What about an anchor for when you're in a place where you have to do a stern anchor to keep from swinging?
Yeah, so that would be your secondary anchor. You just run it off the stern and then tie it to a cleat. What you'll probably end up in the tropics, like in the Caribbean, the South Pacific, what you'll end up doing a lot is dropping the bow, backing down on it and tying off to a tree, or using your stern anchor on the beach. You like go and physically jam it in the sand on the beach and then tension it up. In everyday cruising, I've probably only done it a handful of times, and it was when the bottom was just untenable. Circular hole at the end of that box, and there's a new electric furler which fits inside of there, can fit inside the longeron. It's flush, and it has just basically a little pad eye that sticks up that you can latch onto. And then you have, with an electric furler, you have constant tension, so you're never going to get in trouble. You just and it furls itself up. It's when you lose tension that you get in trouble. So with that electric furler, you have constant tension. Put it away, easy, no problem. The downside with that, obviously, is it's like $12,000. It's not cheap. It's cheaper than a parasailer, and then it gives you a lot more options in downwind sails for short-handed sailing. From everyone that I've spoken to that has them, they love them. They're really good. They have a really wide wind range. They're very forgiving. They're supposed to be very good. What I will say, the downside about parasailers is they have the same life expectancy as a regular spinnaker and cost 10 times as much. For like 20 grand, you can get a regular ASIM for like, 3 or 4. If you're world cruising, probably gonna go through that thing like in 2 years. Money's no object, there you go. But if you're trying to be budget conscious, it doesn't make much sense. What sails do I recommend? So obviously you have the self-tagging jib, the main. It comes standard with the, I believe the ASDL is what we're doing on all the boats right now. And we ordered a huge batch of that. And it was actually supposed to be like a slightly downgraded material on the 44.
Yeah.
But because we got such a good deal on like a huge batch, we're just automatically upgrading 44 to the new sails. Now.
And that's like a Screecher?
No, this is those black sails like on this boat. It's the material. Yeah.
No, but what size sail is that one?
Well, I'm talking about the main and the jib right now.
Oh, main
I'll
and
get
jib.
to the Screecher.
Okay.
I will caveat all that, what I just said. By the time we get to your boat, you're a little further down the line, it will likely have changed. Sure. But it's going to be better. Sure. Right, it's always going to be better. Right.
Which we love.
Yeah. Screecher, the
Screecher, the code 0.
Ready? Oh, hold on.
Okay.
So Richard, you have to give it a yank to unlock it. All right, here we go.
Well, as you can see, we don't have very much wind. Come on, wind. What's our wind speed?
Hey, did we catch a...
Moving now. Slow down.
What's our wind speed?
But we're doing 2 knots and 2.5 knots of breeze.
Woohoo!
Hey guys, all go sit on the leeward side. It'll go faster.
She proved she could do wind speed, 2 knots, 2.5 knots of speed. But you can see this glassy water, not a whole lot going on. Can't even pull the sails.
All the way up. Yeah.
I'll define a screecher as being, you know, the big head sail that's inside the shrouds, and a code 0 is the big head sail that sheets outside the shrouds.
Yeah.
So the screecher has the advantage of you can point a bit higher with it, right? So you can sail the screecher to about 60 degrees apparent, right?
Okay.
The code 0 you can only take to like 75, maybe 70. So pretty big difference.
Yeah.
But the code 0 is better for downwind.
Sure.
So if you're going to be doing like Vingalote, they're in Seattle, it's a lot of light wind, a lot of downwind sailing. They got a code 0 because it's more versatile for those conditions.
Sure.
The screecher, like if you're going to be in the Caribbean mostly, you know, you're talking 15 to 20 trade winds sailing, more upwind stuff when you're hopping between islands.
Yeah.
I would get a screecher because you can point it a bit higher and it has a wider wind range because it's a smaller sail.
Sure.
Right. So advantages and disadvantages. It's really how you plan on using the boat. When you go to the big downwind sails, my preference is probably an ASIM, big asymmetrical spinnaker inside a sock for simplicity.
Yeah.
We can also do, if you want to dumb it down a little bit and make it easier, you can go with a symmetrical, which just pins off the bows.
Sure.
It's like as easy as it gets. It's also in a sock.
Yeah.
It's better for like dead downwind sailing.
Yeah.
Not so good when you're trying to come up a little bit on it. Whereas the ASIM, you can come a little higher on it and you get those better wind angles, which is higher speeds generally.
Yeah.
It does not like to go dead downwind. Like a 30 or 40 degree range where it just doesn't want to, and you end up jibing downwind is faster than going dead downwind on that sail.
Yeah.
Right. Across the Atlantic,
Yeah.
not on this boat, but just in general, I would jibe every other day. So we weren't going straight at our destination. We were going off this way and off this way, and I would jibe every other day, but our VMG was better.
Yeah.
But we kept the boat speed up.
Yeah.
Right, and it would be a similar thing. Whereas the symmetrical, you would aim straight at your destination and not have to deal with jibing. It's like the lazy man's option, but your boat speeds are not good as quite as good.
If this is our head sail here, and our multi-hulls down here, the higher the clew, the more shallow the sheeting angle. It kind of splits the clew angle in half. And why that's important is when you're reaching and you ease the sheet out, the sail stays trimmed properly. There's about an equal amount of tension on the leech and the foot.
What about trampoline material? It's a little hard on the feet.
This is nylon, and it's actually the softer one. You can do Dyneema that's much stiffer than this and actually hurts your feet. Not as bouncy. We can do what we call the charter tramps, which are those white ones that are like really tight weave.
Yeah.
I will tell you, we did one set of those on a 526 and they were bashing up wind offshore and blew them out, and we were like, not doing that again. Water can't pass through it fast enough, and because with the wave piercing bows, we like hammer through waves. Like we cut the tops off waves. And it's not uncomfortable, but like it hammers anything on the foredeck.
Sure.
Right? You need the water to pass through it. It's not ideal for comfort, but it's like the happy medium between the super uncomfortable Dyneema and the inappropriate charter tramp.
Yeah.